Heidi, thank you so much for being here today. Basically the whole premise of these chats is to have someone for about 25 minutes or so, 35 minutes, chat about one or two topics that they think that they are passionate about that they'd like to share some knowledge on. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Arjun.
And quickly, I think we both know each other from work, right?
We do, yes.
And
However, how long have we worked together for? How long?
2 years roughly.
Okay, 2 years then. Yes.
And you know quite a bit about financial management.
I know a little. I know enough to be. I'm savvier than the average person.
Beautiful.
I would say.
And this is something that you'd like to share some knowledge on today.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. I'm quite passionate about.
Mm.
So there's just kind of like a lot of things that we can do that aren't extra steps or that aren't time consuming to maximize our money. So for example, anyone with any type of loans, whether it's a home loan, a car loan, any kind of loan, it's really important to make those repayments weekly and not fortnightly or monthly. You save, for example, like a 25-year home loan would come down to, you'd probably knock a good 3 years off your loan just by paying weekly.
Really?
Absolutely. So you would get that loan down to probably like 21 and a half years from 25 years or around 22 years. And that's just something, doesn't cost you more money to do it. It's so easy. Some banks are a bit difficult and dodgy, difficult, and might not let you pay weekly. But that was something that was a prerequisite for me with my home loan. I had to have a bank that would take a weekly repayment. Because the longer that with your repayment, the more interest they're making. So if you're paying it back weekly instead of monthly, they are making a lot more money out of you. And that's something that's why by default, they'll probably put you on a monthly repayment. They won't even offer you weekly. And then you would say, just make that a note, I'll be paying that weekly. And then some banks might say, no, fortnightly is the lowest you can do. Well, if you want to be with that bank, that's your choice. I personally would not. But yeah, they will not offer it. You have to tell them. And it's the same as a car loan, any kind of loans. I had a car loan. I had a 3-year car loan and I paid it off weekly instead, and I knocked 6 months off the loan. I was done by 2.5 years. It makes so much of a difference on interest just by paying this weekly. So yeah,
And what was the interest comparison for you when you knocked off 6 months roughly?
Yeah, just of the repayment.
Okay.
So my loan was done 6 months early kind of thing. Wow. And for example, my home loan, that's if you pay the minimum, you would save like 3 years or so, obviously, if you pay extra towards your mortgage repayments. But that's just something so basic. So instead of paying, I don't know, let's pretend you're paying $2,000 a month in your mortgage, instead of saying on the 16th of every month I pay $2,000, it's going to recalculate it, I don't know, maybe $5.10 a week or something like that, and you'll, and then you'll just pay that off weekly. It will make such a difference. And you won't really notice it because you've kind of already thought, I have to pay this for the month, so it doesn't make much of a difference for you to make it weekly. I think that's kind of super important. But yeah, it's just about finding ways where you don't have to change much in your life to be able to do it. And you can set it up on an auto payment. I'm not telling you to go into the bank each week or do anything like that. Something is just so easy. Superannuations also are really, it's super important to the future for your retirement.
Just to add, superannuation for those, because we do have viewers from like outside Australia.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be good to quickly touch on what superannuation is.
Okay, so in Australia, and I'm not sure if anywhere else in the world does it, but superannuation is compulsory payment by your employer. I think it is approximately 11.5% or 12%. It has been changing lately. We have been getting more. So we actually want the higher the number. And that's a percentage of your wage that is put into an account. So when we are of retirement age, which keeps changing also in Australia, but I think at the moment is maybe 67, it depends when you're born, you can access that money. And as a top up of your income, say in Australia, or sometimes when you become a pensioner, we'll give you some Centrelink, and that will top up your income as a way of living and still being able to have a nice life, maybe a holiday, maybe you need a new car, pay off your mortgage. So there are ways you can access it before the old age of retirement. Special clauses, as medical clauses, you can buy an investment property. There are ways to do it early, but normally people just pick a super fund and don't look into it anything more. But fees coming out of it, they don't kind of give it much thought. And then when they become older, they start showing a bit more interest, or they're like ready to kind of cash out. So my recommendation, which does follow Barefoot Investors' recommendation, if you are not looking to retire in the next 5 years, so you're not at the pension age, I would recommend that you put the money, like you could probably tell them to do it, or you could log into your account and do it. But basically the superannuation company invests your money on your behalf as they see fit in the stock market and things like that, and things that are safe options to invest in. So if you're picking a growth, the category called growth, that is deemed to be slightly more risky. And by risky, I mean, I'm going to call it significantly minimally risky, but that has a quite high return. So I have all my money in growth because unfortunately I'm not retiring in the next 5 years. And so it's performing superbly. It makes so much of a difference just to having it in the low risk. These aren't still super risky things. They're not kind of investing in some company that's likely to go bust next year. It just means things like, say, when COVID hit, all supers kind of got impacted a bit by that, took a little bit of a loss at the time. But with growth has like flourished back and is like moving leaps and bounds. So I do recommend 100% growth, just like the Barefoot Investor does. I am someone that does monitor my super balance, monitor the interest I'm making on my money, because I am also retiring very, very soon. No, I just want to. I don't know if I can, but I need to be mortgage free and need a bit more income in the bank. But so I highly recommend that. Others, you'll hear a lot of people talk about, especially when you're younger, really important to put some extra money into your super. For me personally, if I didn't have a home loan, I would put extra part of my pay because there's ways to do it without paying tax on that money. I would do that if I didn't have a home loan. But being that interest rates aren't that cheap at the moment on home loans, it's an interest-bearing liability. I'm just kind of trying to get my home loan paid off ASAP. So even if it's the extra $20 I'd be putting it in super, I'm putting it in extra on my home loan. But if I didn't have a home loan, I would absolutely be saying, you're probably not going to miss $20 a week or so. I'd be, looking into putting that into the super. But I do recommend growth category, unless you are very close to retirement age, then you can just leave it in balanced or whatever they put it in by default. But I would highly recommend growth.
So we've talked about loan repayments, superannuation, and then maximizing the benefits from that.
Absolutely.
And I think you had some other stuff to share.
I do. So, so there's this is probably more like Australian based though, to benefit people here. So we have like 2 apps in Australia called Shopback and Cash Rewards. Mm-hmm. So are you familiar with those apps?
Vaguely, but I don't use any.
Okay. All right. So it's a platform that's tracking a sale. It's a safe platform that tracks your sales. So they're apps on your phones and they'll track your purchases that you're making with a company. So let's say I'm already got to buy some dog food, some flea worming tablets or whatever from Pet Barn. I go there all the time. Let's say I've got to buy some dog. This isn't like, let's pretend I'm buying a $60 bag of dog food and $50 on flea worming. Okay, so it's $110. All right, I can drive to the store if I wish in life, or I could just do it via the Cash Rewards app or Shopback app. Now, both of these have incredible sales. I'd imagine they are worldwide. I'm just not 100% sure, to be honest, but they have things like booking.com on there as well, like Virgin Airlines. They've got like many things. So it's just not Pet Barn. It's like
services,
clothing stores. Lots of Red Balloon, all this stuff, like lots of experiences and things. And they offer you a percentage of your purchase that you get back as your own money. So, for example, I went on a helicopter ride in Uluru. So I was absolutely going to be buying this experience via the Shopback app. And the percentages do change all the time and they are different between the apps. So I kind of watch each app. I might keep an eye on it. And next thing it might be like 10% off, 20% off, 30% off. I'm like, bang. Sometimes it's capped at amounts and that's okay. And then I'll be like, okay, now I'm purchasing it. So that's how I might buy my helicopter experience or even my dog food. Like sometimes it will be 40% off. I'm already going to these shops. I'm not telling you to buy things you don't need. I'm saying you're buying the things that you already do need to buy, or you're planning to buy this experience anyway. I'm not saying waste your money just because it's a deal. I'm just saying by tracking the sales. So how it works is they track the sale. They kind of the person that you're buying the item from, so say Pet Barn, confirms it at the back end that that's a legit sale and that you haven't then returned the item. And then within you'll see the amount that's pending in your Shopback or Cash Rewards account. And then at the end of say 90 days, the money gets released into the account. Now, how you get it back from the Shopback or Cash Rewards, you simply give them your BSB and account number and they deposit the cash into your account. I've literally got $3,000 back in 2 years from Shopback because I'm already shopping at these things. I'm already buying dog food or going to the Iconic or experiences or accommodation. I've literally just booked on my Bali holiday via that because it's an extra 10, 20, 30% back and getting the money.
Over time.
It absolutely adds up. Even things some of them might be really low. For example, I can't remember what I was looking at yesterday. It was oh yeah, Ticket Tech. I was I wonder what that offers. It was 70 cents a transaction. I was oh, that's ridiculous. But normally, it's not normally off an amount. Oh yeah, your phone as well. Say for example, in Australia, I use Boost prepaid mobile. It's probably one of the best deals out there, and I absolutely buy it pay 12 months in advance.
Oh.
It works out literally less than $20 a month, and I'll use Shopback or Cash Rewards because they'll often have a special promotion, either a percentage back of that annual fee, or it'll be take $50 off. So that's how I get it down so long. I'm literally paying maybe $18 a month. I've got hundreds of gigs of data, international calls, all this stuff that I don't even use that. But I recommend.
So how do these
maybe.
apps make money though?
I don't know. They get a commission generally.
Okay.
So actually I do know that they do get a commission, but it's a lot of money from say Pet Barn to be losing, because if Pet Barn's already giving me 30% off my order, I'm spending $100, I'm taking $30 back off them, and then what they've got to give, I'd imagine it's a very low commission, but let's say they're giving 1% or 0.5%, it still adds up. But and then that's how they make the money. But also you get money from referring people as well. So if you refer your friends, and once they've, or anyone I don't even know how I got into this. I don't even know who referred me, or if it even could have been done randomly, and I was let me Google this and see what it's about. But so there's ways of I think sometimes they offer $30 to you if you refer someone, and then once they make a purchase, you'll get that money. And
basically you just make the purchase through the app.
Yeah, it just tracks it. So it's still on the Pet Barn website, it's still on the Ticket Tech website, it's still on the booking.com. You're just literally going into this app, and then you're clicking on, okay, I want to go to booking.com, and then it says tracking, taking you there. And it looks like the booking.com website. It's just being tracked, I guess, in the cookies or something.
That's all you have to do. Okay.
Exactly.
I should do that.
You should do that. And it has even say 4% off if you're buying airline credit. It's just got, and different deals all the time. But to be honest, more brands are on there than not. Just from anything from a washing machine to, you can even search a particular item. You might be thinking, I want to buy a Samsung washing machine, and you can type that into the app and it will pull up the places that have that, and then you can be looking at the different percentages and be Kogan 50%, I like that one, I'll click on there. But it's an absolute very easy way to make money if you already know you're kind of buying it. Good Guys is on there all the time. I had to buy a speaker not long ago specifically. I knew they were a good price, so I was great, they're on there for 15% back, awesome. So I'm not giving you things that are kind of require a lot more effort. I would say that's pretty easy to click an app and just type in the app, that booking.com, or you can just type travel, and then you can compare which one has the best rate, and then go into that one and be I really like the price that booking.com is, plus I'm getting 14% back, great. Or so it's kind of obviously the different platforms do advertise different prices, but I just quickly find the best price and then I'll book my accommodation that way. But I don't really go on holiday all the time. But
there is an app like that. I think I have a friend who uses it, called Easy Diner or Easy Club or something like that. So
Eats Club?
Eats Club,
We will speak about that one next. Yes,
awesome.
That's my other favorite app. It's just a really, just a great way just to get that extra money, and it really adds up. So you can choose to let it bank up a bit and then take it out. I tend to try to take mine out after, especially at the start, after it probably got to 100, because I was like, what if this company goes bust from giving away all this money? But I don't think they're going bust, and I've literally withdrawn $3,000. So yeah, it's been amazing. But yeah, Eats Club is an Australian app also. It's basically, it's how I choose to eat all of my going out meals. So on Eats Club, once again, yeah, you can refer people and get money as well. I think if you refer 5 friends, they'll give you $60 of credit, which is quite large. So Eats Club, basically, it resets at midnight of the day. So for example, after midnight this morning, if I just randomly know, yeah, I want to go out for dinner or lunch today, let's say I want to go in Brunswick, you can change the region. So it says it mostly works in the main cities, and like for example, if you live in Melbourne, there isn't one for Geelong, but you can set it to Melbourne. It kind of does all our major cities in Australia, but it also, I think, has Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast in addition to Brisbane. But for the rest, it's literally like Melbourne, Sydney, kind of Perth. So you can type the suburb in if you want to do it that way. So I might say, yeah, I know I want to eat in Brunswick tonight, and then it will pull up all the different offers, say for Brunswick, and it will say different and times as well that they're offering it. So they might say like, Rolled in Brunswick is offering 30% off for diners between 3 and 5 p.m. It just means you've got to arrive at that time. You can arrive at 4:59. That's fine. And normally it gives you 3 hours to stay for. It'll include your drinks as well. So like it's normally like sometimes there's 40% off, sometimes there's 50% off.
Wow.
They're pretty massive savings, and there's got a menu. Most of them have a menu already in there, so you can also just pre-look at the menu and you'll be like, oh, okay, like $300 for a steak. That might not be the place I'm going to, or it might be like, yeah, most meals are $40 or $30 or $20. I'm happy to have 50% off. That sounds amazing. So you can kind of like get a sample of the menu, or you can just Google the restaurant and look up the menu yourself. But they also have takeaway options as well in there. So how that works is the issue. So there's a certain number of the percentages and the time slots available. So they don't kind of let 300 people have 50% off at 7 p.m. So you kind of have to, that's why I'm saying it resets at midnight to give you all the day's options. And I mean, if I knew when I woke up in the morning at 7 o'clock that there was a specific restaurant I'd been eyeing off and wanted to eat there that night, I wouldn't be waiting till 5 p.m. to book it, because it's probably going to have been gone. Like the 5 might be taken. So I'd probably be like, right, good. I think the maximum guest might be 6 on your booking.
So it's a quota, basically.
Pardon?
It's like a quota.
Yeah, there's a quota of like how many of these sale offers that they'll give. So the whole restaurant can't be on this discount. But how Eats Club works is so you actually never tell the venue that you're using Eats Club, and it's technically not a booking. So it's considered a walk-in reservation. So they might have in their system like, expect 4 Eats Club diners at 6 o'clock, but that isn't your reservation. So then you would rock up. You'd never mention Eats Club at all your whole time you're there. You're just like, oh, hi, can I have a table for 4? Yep, cool. They'll tell you to go sit down. Order all your food and drinks galore. Then when it's time to pay the bill, the person who did the booking has to be the person that pays the bill. And Eats Club is it opens in your say your Google Wallet. It'll give you a card, like some people have their credit cards in their Google Wallet. It has an Eats Club card. Now that Eats Club card is linked then to your kind of bank account of choice. So I have mine linked to my Amex credit card. And so what happens is I just go up at the end and I'm like, yeah, hi, I just want to pay my bill for table 4. And then they'll say, let's say that's $100. You're like, okay, because they don't know you've got a discount. 100, fine. So then you pull out your phone, which has your Google Wallet in it, and then you find the Eats Club card in the Google Wallet, and you literally just tap your phone on the screen. It goes ting. She's like, the person serving you says, thank you very much for coming, and you'll walk away. So I have my Amex actually gives me notifications whenever I've made a purchase. So it'll ting in my hand and I'll see like, yep, it's taken $60 out. So because I had 40% off. So it knows the discount, but the person doesn't give you a crappy meal or a small portion because you're on a discount, because they don't actually know it's you, because you don't tell them and they're none the wiser. So, and then you literally see in your bill, great, I only got $60 out of my account. Plus it's tells you that in the Eats Club app anyway. If for some weird, bizarre reason, I don't know, let's pretend there was a power outage as you were trying to pay and the machine wouldn't work, or something like that happened, or your phone just, I don't know, magically got stolen off the table during this service, which I don't really think that's great. But anyway, if something didn't work and you had to pay the whole bill at full price, just make sure you get a receipt and then you just email Eats Club and they'll put the difference in your bank account.
Okay.
That's happened to me once, I think, just because I was probably one of their first customers. I actually am in their top 1% of users for the last year. I'm in their top 2% of users for the last month. I actually looked yesterday. But I've actually recently moved somewhere that doesn't really have it at all in the area, so I only use it when I'm in Melbourne. But takeaway is also an option on there as well. Once again, it's a limited number of offers, so I do recommend, like I know you might know what you want for dinner at 7 o'clock that morning, and that's fine. But yeah, you can kind of go in and redeem it by placing the order in the app, and it will take the money, and then you just tell it what time you're picking it up. So, 8 o'clock in the morning, I might be like, oh, there's only 2 vouchers for takeaway at my favorite restaurant. I know I want it. I'll just put the order in now. I know what I want, and then just drive there and pick it up, and that's not a problem at all. But yeah, it's just a really cost-effective way, especially with the cost of living at the moment, to be able to dine out and have a good time. And quite often, some of these times, it's cheaper for me to be buying food this way than making it myself. Yeah. It's an easy way to. Recently had my favorite Indian for like $12 after discount.
Oh my gosh.
And a cheese naan for like $3 something after discount. I was like, how good's life? Like, I can't make this. Well, I can't cook Indian anyway, but I can't make this superb tasting dish, especially for $12. So once you buy all your ingredients, so it's just a cost-effective way to still, enjoy the hard financial times, but also, go out with friends or whatever, or by yourself, takeaway, or go out and eat alone. But
and can you top up this Eats Club card through salary packaging as well? Or?
No, it's
so
not.
that's when you use the salary packaging card, get the receipt, and then maybe try and.
No, the salary pack. No, it won't work with that at all, because the Eats Club card links to like your account, which generally might be your credit card. But in terms of salary packaging, I claim meal entertainment, but I don't use a salary packaging card because I collected my receipts, because it's also accommodations in that as well, travel accommodation.
Yes,
so I actually just email them every now and then some receipts for accommodation and travel. Perfect. And I just tell them continually take out the $98, give me the $98 claim on salary packaging. So I don't use the card because I want the credit card points and pay for something, not with a salary packaging card that's not going to give me points, and B, because I want to use Eats Club.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've never done that, and I just, like, you can see, I mean, $98 a fortnight is essentially what the salary packaging meal entertainment allowance is. So, I mean, my trip to Bali, your accommodation might be a bit. That's already bought you quite a few weeks. I just check the balance and send them through, scan it, like one kind of lunch break at work or whatever, or take a photo at home. And just be like, here's the top up for my account. Do it that way, because I also there are some people that are skeptical about having credit cards, and that can also be for money management, and they might be not very responsible. And in that case, I don't think a credit card is good for you. But if you are okay with, like, it's a credit card, I'm not going to buy any more or less than what I usually would, it's just a form of payment, then I absolutely recommend so highly that you get a good points earning credit card. For example, like, to be honest, the Amex is amazing. Amex will often give you somewhere between 70,000 to 100,000, say, Velocity or Qantas frequent flyer points on sign-on, and also, like, perhaps a travel credit to use within Australia, domestic travel, or a free return flight in Australia, plus some lounge passes as well. They also give you at least 1 point per dollar on your shopping as well. So once again, I'm already shopping because I'm already, choosing to buy on booking.com and go on a holiday. I'm choosing to buy petrol. I'm choosing to buy groceries, paying my electricity bill, paying my stuff. So to me, life is completely about a point. And not everywhere takes Amex, and sometimes their fee might be 2% instead of the 1% of other banks. So I do have another card as well. I do have a Virgin Money one at the moment. I do change though because I'm all about the points. But also I do recommend if you're if you have a home loan, and that includes, some of them include a complimentary credit card to go. Technically, it's because you're paying already a lot in interest to have a home loan, but sometimes they like to charge an annual fee as well of like $350 just for giving you the loan, which is absolutely ridiculous. But my bank, Westpac, says, you can have a credit card of ours as part of your package. So I just made sure I got the credit card that had the absolute most points. So I had this platinum, like Virgin Velocity, 100,000 points. I'm like, that's normally costs like $350 a year to have the credit card. I'm like, you don't have to pay that because it's free with the home loan. So I was like, I'll take the card that earns the most points, the most expensive card, and gives me all the points, and then I'll pay for everything that way. So that's also what I do. But yeah, because I'm not saying buy anything more, but if you're already paying for these things, you might as well be getting some Velocity or Qantas points, or there are other banking offer points. But I do highly recommend that.
A lot of nuggets of wisdom. And from what I understand, you're a social worker by background, but you have knowledge of financial management, and anyone can pick up financial
Absolutely. I just was someone that was in an unfortunate situation quite some time ago, and had a relationship ended and left me in a lot of debt. Some of it I wasn't really aware of, and this was quite some time ago, and I was like, how do I get out of this debt, and how do I get ahead, and then how do I save for a home loan deposit and get a home? So it just taught me to be really savvy with money, but also I never wanted to miss out on anything just because I'm saving for a home loan or had debt at that time. Like I wasn't going to stay home, but I had to make it that going out wasn't going to cost me these maximum amounts. So therefore I didn't have the money to pay off these things because that was a priority, to get a home and pay off that debt before that. So that's kind of how I went, and I learned all these like little things like, okay, if I'm getting all these credit card points, like in terms of Velocity, well then that's my flight. So I've been to like the US for free and things like that. Wow. Travel interstate, like I have a lot of points. I can kind of go anywhere at any time that I need. And I just will kind of monitor. I'll be like, well, I'm not going to, like there was a sign on for 1 year with a particular credit card. I'm not going to keep staying with them now that I'm not getting that sign on bonus each year. I'm going to leave them and go to another one that's going to give you, 50,000 points to join. So I'm kind of like shift things around a little bit. But yeah, absolutely. Eating out. Eats Club's great. It has restaurants I didn't even know about. So, and some of them on there I would already go to. So I'm like, even better. They're already ones I love. I'll just keep going. But they don't just it's not just restaurants and cafes. They do have like dessert bars, like say the ice cream shop, or a bar for alcohol that doesn't really have food. It has a bit of variety like that.
Quite a bit of scope.
Yeah, and if you're going on holidays, it's great. You just change it, say, to Brisbane, and then go and have a cost-effective time out in Brisbane as well. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Heidi, thank you so much. Is that everything?
Yeah, yes.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Time really flew by. And normally,
it really does.
At the very end, I ask one question that the viewers can maybe ponder over, and that's one piece of advice from the top of your head that you think might be useful for anyone watching.
I've just given lots of advice.
In general advice, whether it's life advice, you can say.
Yeah. Trust your gut, and also really set your finances up quite independently. I think it's important. Like obviously some people are in long-term relationships and marriages, and that's fine. But if you're kind of starting off things as single and you're buying a home and things like that as a single person, I think protecting your assets is quite important in life and looking after yourself. So because you don't have to stay home just because you're lacking funds and just because there's a global crisis. There's still a cost-effective ways to go. Shopback also has things like movie tickets. So many experiences. You don't have to stay home. There's lots of offers all the time.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
Heidi, thank you so much. I know I've learned a lot for sure. I know people watching this will learn a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Really
Thanks, Arjun. Thank you.